What's happening, y'all? What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? We are live. Let me oh yeah, okay, there we go. Let me add my brother. Let me introduce my brother. I want to introduce him, give him a good introduction, man. Uh Brother E Black has been through the ringer. He was on the mothership. He's now left the mothership. He's over at Kings with Conversations if you want to see him. Plus, he has his own page. I'll link to that in the description. And, he talks about a lot of different things. Well, I'm going to let him tell you about what he does on his page. But the brother is very knowledgeable about voting and people and, how it affects our people. So we decided we're going to have a chat about black people and voting. So I'm going to bring him up. Y'all put your hands together for my brother from another mother, Brother E Black. What's going on with you, sir?
What's going on, my guy?
Hey, man, what's happening with you, man? How's things going?
I'm blessed, all day, every day. Family's good. You know, I'm great.
And that's all you can ask for, man. That's all you can ask for. We got everybody in the bit. We got the hard driving soldiers is trickling in. Of course, Sister Glenda's JP always in the house. Brother Brother Rashawn is in the house. Sister Don Frank, what's going on with you? And
Hey,
I'm
Don.
sure we're gonna have a few more trickling in. Brother Scorp, he's in the house. Peace to you, Brother Scorp. Um, yeah, man. So we wanted to have this discussion about black people, man, and voting. But before we do that, Brother E Black, before we do that, man, I want the people, because like always, a lot of my people work, man, so they're gonna catch this on the replay. So I want you to tell them a little bit about you, man, and about you and what you're doing and how they can catch up to you.
Well, I have my own page, of course. It's Eblacktv, all one word if you want to find it. Mainly, I talk about right now, I'm in my first season. The theme is faith. I'm talking about people living in their purpose, you know, just providing a story. I'm working on things. I'm technically a new YouTuber. I've only started a couple of months, 6 months, maybe max five and some change. So I'm working things out on the message. Other than that, personally, I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm an individual free thinker. So you know, like I said, I really appreciate you inviting me back on because I really love talking and having conversations with people who just want to make life better. We don't want to do stuff just for clicks.
All right.
We actually just want to talk and have conversations and hopefully somebody can get different perspectives. We may not change everybody's mind, but at least one person.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
Pardon me, I'm trying to get right, man. Let me get right.
Me too, brother. E back, man. When you get right, come get me. Come back to me. I'll be sitting right here, brother. Come back and get me. Oh, all right, man. So y'all heard about Brother E Black, and you know how I do, Brother E Black. My hard driving soldiers are usually the ones that hit me in the chat, so I usually dip into that chat as we're talking. So you know how I do that. Let's see. I got one from Don Frank. Sister Don, I worked hard on the election, and black people won the election for the president and Senate seats.
Yeah, we did.
Okay. Now, we won the election. Black people won the election. Brother, if you could explain what that actually means so that we can get a like a idea of what that position is.
Well, if you look at really the electoral map, most of us African Americans are concentrated in the South. Uh, Georgia being one of the largest electoral bases in America for African American eligible voters. I think it's like 40% of eligible voters in Georgia are African American. So,
Okay.
they have a very large constituency and they literally won the election because, and not only did they win the election against Donald Trump, but they also won the Senate seats. So
Okay.
they flexed on the country. They flexed really hard in terms of what the African American vote is, and I'm hoping that we can continue that across the whole spectrum of politics.
Okay. Okay. So, but what does that mean? Black people won the presidency. What does that mean?
Well, like I said, without Georgia and let's not give discredit to probably Pennsylvania and probably a lot of different areas. A lot of people won, but specifically for Georgia, like I said, the if you took every eligible voter in Georgia, 40% of them would be black. 40% black.
Okay.
So quite literally, the African American vote in that place showed up. They showed up not only just by showing up to the polls, but they did exactly what they were supposed to do in the midst of a pandemic by sending in their votes. They organized. So in terms of just winning that election, yeah, they did what they were supposed to do.
I mean, but when you say when you say that the black people won that election, what you mean when you say won that election, you mean that the people that showed up to the polls actually um, got the candidate that they wanted elected. Is that what you mean by we won?
Yeah,
Okay. I'm just trying to see. I'm trying to
I get it. I
do
get it. Look,
position
we can
exactly
break it
what.
down. Look, we can break it down. The last election, 95% of African Americans voted. God, I don't want to even misquote that, but I would say a large part of the Democratic vote of African Americans voted African voted for the Democratic Party.
I
Now
would
I
say
will say,
almost all the time. Yeah.
yeah, but I
That's a
will
given.
say, well, I would say a caveat to that. This was one of the largest elections in American history. So, when you expand numbers, and then when you expand, if you ever study statistics, when you expand numbers, usually the numbers drop. Our
Okay.
numbers didn't drop. Our numbers actually rose. So we
Okay.
actually saw more solidification within the Democratic Party.
Okay. Let me hit a couple of these chats, brother. You black.
That's good.
Correct. Warnock and Ossoff were great picks for us. Biden was a lesser of two evils.
Yeah.
Yikes. Let's get back to that one. Let me catch up. JP, that's JP. JP. Uh, what did we win? So JP's asking the question, what did we win, brother?
That's a tough question. Given the fact that the vice president is a HBCU member, I think there was a lot of things in that. I think even going back to the last thing what Don said, it was a lesser of two evils. Um, it's just up to there's a lot of things that we could say that moral victories, but on in terms of the paper victories, is yet to be seen. We're literally 1 year away from it. Like we just had an election last year, so I know it seems a long time, but we got to have midterms and we got to kind of get the political bases to kind of get used to their new pants or shoes, I should say.
But okay, we'll come back to that. We'll come
Yeah,
back to
yeah. I trust me.
that.
Well. I know that's a larger question. I don't want to. I
All
want
right.
us to kind of have a flowing conversation. I
Okay.
don't want us
All
to
right,
get.
brother. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So like I said, I'm just we can just discuss, and then I'm just gonna like I said, my chat is so small, brother. I can hit them.
Oh, okay.
Brother Scorp. I think it's around 90% of black vote Democrat. Just about, brother. JP. After all the Democratic voting, where is the Black Hate Crime Bill, HBCU funding, equitable cannabis, social justice? Do you think that any of this stuff will be dealt with by the Biden administration?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I'm gonna try to address it probably in a couple of ways. With in terms of HBCU funding, remember we talked about it last time, and the fact that it was seemed to be cut, right?
Right.
Right. Well, it comes out to be that the budget was actually 500 million during the Trump presidency, right? That's always
Okay.
been the budget. So
Okay.
what they had was an ambitious bill for 45 billion, right?
Okay.
It got chopped to 2 billion, which is still 101.5 billion more than any budget out there. So it's not enough money. First of all, if you talk about the hundreds of HBCUs out there
Right.
and the needs that are need to be met, it's really in terms of just collegiate administration, it's not enough money. You can't split up 2 billion between all the HBCUs. You have to
Right.
have the 45 billion. You
Right.
have to have the large number. Uh,
Right.
so in terms of like HBCU funding, yeah, we're not getting everything that we want, but it is a start, I guess. It's a moral start. Like I said, I'm not happy. I think we should be fighting more for it, but it's gonna be tough. The Black Hate Crime Bill, that's tough too. That's one of those things where, if you really look at the Asian hate bill, it really just shoveled money from one to a bunch of nonprofits. There is no legislation thing in it. It doesn't say it makes it a federal crime to do this. It just basically creates policies and do research and then also transfer money to nonprofits that essentially wants to make the life of Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. That's the part that a lot of people miss, is that the Pacific Islanders or Samoans or Hawaiians, those people are included in it too. So
Well, let me ask you a
that's
question, brother, because to me, um, I'm at a misunderstanding, so I'm gonna have to go back and check.
hmm
But is my understanding that the Asian hate bill makes it a crime to do violence against Asian people
no,
just because they're Asian?
no,
That is not true.
no.
Okay.
It literally does the research. It funds the researching of, like, say, crime in America, like hotlines, and it gives nonprofits the opportunity to enrich themselves by saying, "Hey, we represent the Asian community in this capacity or another." So,
So
if
it
you were,
basically gives them money.
yes,
It doesn't actually uh, help in the criminality of
hmm
doing stuff to Asians. That's
there is
your
no
position.
criminality. There is no criminality piece in the Asian hate bill,
Okay. Okay. So that was my
and it's an
misunderstanding.
it's an executive order. Just to be sure, just to be straight.
Okay. Okay.
So executive orders can't let it's different, man. Like I said, like there's some things that are fuzzy in spaces that we need to kind of, like I said, I've actually looked at the executive order, and like I said, I understand where people's outrage is, but like if you really understand what's going on, it's just a transfer of money.
Okay. Okay. What about the I know JP gonna be interested in this. What about the cannabis uh you know justice?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't think the Democrats are gonna have enough time to get it passed. I just don't think they're gonna have enough time. They're literally 51 to 50, 49. So I think this is a better time than ever to get some type of bill on the floor. But I don't think they're gonna have enough time to get it through. They're gonna need definitely a large amount of people in the states to kind of say, "Hey, we want to decriminalize marijuana."
Okay.
I don't
Okay.
know. I don't think they're gonna have enough time though. They literally have one last year to do it, so they're gonna have to
Okay.
buckle down on something.
All right, brother. Let me rush to get to some of the other chats. Sister Don, Biden was the best choice. Not sure we win a lot, in all honesty, but it was a better choice. We say that, brother E Black.
Yeah, that's one of those things that I think, in terms, it's a morality thing. It's a moral thing. I think the country at that time, at our time, were really not a good country in terms of the way that African Americans seen the way that things were going, in terms of the way that Latinos seen the things. Like, I think we had to get the guy out of there. I don't think we could go through another term. But that was
Why?
just my opinion. In terms of policy, I could sit here and talk policy all day and whether his policies work. Not only that, we went through a pandemic and the guy already knew. So we could talk this or that, but yeah, I think for the
But
most part,
what's the main reason why we had to get that guy out and get this guy in? What's the main reason?
Well,
What's the difference?
for me, the sticking point was the way he handled the COVID response.
Okay.
He kind of basically lied to us for like a few months, and then at the same time didn't really come forward with the truth. Like, hey,
He
yeah, you
did.
can die from this thing.
He did. He
Yeah,
did.
so I think that's where he lost a big chunk of his credibility, and like I wouldn't want him to, I wouldn't literally want to mean, I wouldn't want him to run. I can't trust that guy. Like he lied to us. So I mean, that's just me, but that's each individual to itself. So
Okay. So are you saying, is it that you trust Biden more, or you just don't trust uh, Trump more?
yeah, yeah, that's it. I don't trust Trump enough to really run this country. That was my thing. He
All
lost
right,
all
brother.
credibility in terms
All
of
right,
that.
brother. All right, so all right. Let me, because I know they got a lot of questions for you, brother. So let me move down the line. JP. So he did nothing. JP.
Yeah.
Well, brother Black is trying to let us know what's going on. Be sure to JP. Be sure to sub and like, share with your community. Appreciate you, JP. Thank you so much. Sister Don. The facts are true, though more blacks turned out, and here in Georgia, I think now I realize how loud their voice is. It truly was amazing, in my opinion, to be part of that movement. Yeah. We're gonna get to all of that, Sister Don. We're gonna get to all of that. Right now, we're just kind of opening up the can and trying to look around and see what we're gonna actually hit on. JP. So will an excuse fix the dorms at Howard? Uh-oh. What do you think, brother E Black?
Like I said, no, it's not enough money.
Yeah, not enough money.
What you might get is literally maybe some coffers being replenished and some programs, gyms maybe repainted, and some. Hopefully, they'll spend it on some STEM work and public outreach programs. But you're not. It's just not enough money in terms of what colleges need to you know, fit to get it. Yeah, like they need more money.
Okay. Let me see, Sister G. And still, as of today, nobody has cut the check as far as our reparations are concerned. Jim Crow Joe is about to give away 450K per immigrant. Hi.
Yeah.
Everybody but blacks are compensated. Holy smokes. What do you say to that, brother E Black, to the people that vote Democrat, yet this is what we got going on? What do you say?
When I looked into that, like I said, I wanted to actually see where the pen meets the pad, or the rubber meets the road. And from my understanding, I think this was just something that has been speculative. It's tough. I don't think it's real. I don't think it's real, but it could be real in a sense that
What could be real, brother?
the 450.
Okay.
Like I haven't seen a credible source or a credible bill or any type of thing that says, okay, yeah, we're doing this, or we're planning to do this, or we're.
Well, I mean,
like,
if they're gonna provide housing, food, clothing, for a couple of years, for per immigrant, per I mean, I don't sound too off, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, that's just like one of those things. Like I said, I would like to see the actual, rubber hit the road on that, and give me a good construct. I mean, you do have. I think we forget the asylum seekers. Asylum is a real thing. It is a thing in America. We've done that with Cubans. We've done it with a lot of different political groups. I think Haitians definitely deserve to get a part of that, but as you can see,
Turning them around and sending them home, brother.
Yeah, they actually they got a plane and they sent them home quick.
Right. Why?
That was the quickest eviction I've ever seen.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I am all for
Italians get off the boat every day. Russians get off the boat every day. Everybody else gets off the boat every day. But
Yeah,
man, them
that was
Haitians, man, they
crazy.
like, hey, get right back on that boat.
No, they gave him a plane. They gave him a
They give them a
first
plane. Oh,
class
we'll fly you
ticket
out of here for free.
for free. Like that was the
Yeah,
quickest
yeah.
eviction I ever
Brother E
seen.
Black, you're gonna have to, man. You're gonna have to help us understand this stuff. Hold on, man.
Yeah.
JP, if it's a bill, means the House signed, not the executive branch. I guess you're talking about the Asian hate bill,
Yeah, but
hate crime
it was
bill.
never it was never signed by any
Okay,
exec.
all right, all right. So JP, that's it. There you go. Um, JP. So black folks are proud to have elected the lesser of their oppressors. Why should we continue to vote for either party? Yeah, you black. Why should we continue to vote for either party?
That's the tough one. I think when you look at, for instance, like I'm in Texas, right? The legislative body in Texas, the state senate, and on all of them, what they did was based. Texas has grown. They've grown through immigration, right?
Right.
But what they ended up doing, they redrew the districts to include more white people in their district. So where we may have had 100 and say 50 congressional areas, now we have 152, but they've lessened all of the black areas, all the Mexican areas, and added 2 or 3 more white. So it's one of those things where you got to understand that you can't just vote for somebody just because you don't like who you with. Sometimes you got to stick with who you with, and because these other people, they don't care about you. They don't.
All right. All right. Let's see. Uh, Brother Daniel Madden. Black people need to have a unified agenda and put your money where your mouth is, like everyone else. No dough, no show. Yeah, that's true, Brother D. Like I said last time, this is a quid pro quo system, and that's just the way American politics goes. Let's get off the party voting scheme we've been writing off for so long. Brother E Black, do you think if we as black people decided to say, you know what, we're not going to vote with the Democratic Party no more, just because we're going to we're going to do our own thing,
Mm-hmm.
and we're going to see, it's hard because we don't use the political action committees like everyone else. We don't play the game like everyone else, so it ties our hands. But
Yeah.
if we decided to play the game, do you think we could get a better outcome by holding out until one party or the other party said, "Hey, we're going to do this for you, black people"?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's tough because, as I was doing some research on it, the one thing that stuck out was the fact that black people don't have a traditional trade, a farming group, a
Right?
metals and parts group, a oil group,
Industries, right?
yeah, industry, but you have to have raw industry. Some service industries, they can be legislated out. For instance, most black people, we run one of the largest money making machines in hip hop, right? Well, you
Yeah.
can you can get that legislated out with parental advisement, right? You can't sell it at Walmart if it has a parental advisement sticker. So
Yeah.
so it has to be tangible things, And as I was looking at the spread out of the African American base, we do have a large group of people in healthcare, but we have to be on the bottom level of healthcare. We can't be on the service level of healthcare
What's the
unless
bottom
we.
level?
The bottom level is the parts and manufacturing, biotech, hospital buildings, doctor groups, the nuts and bolts. We can't be on
Right.
the service level in terms of having just nurses and kinesthesiologists. Just we can't be on the service side. We have to be on the producing side. So yeah, to get to the agenda side, we have to sit here and as African Americans, produce more men and more women who are producing than servicing. Then when you're a producer, then you're able to provide more jobs. That's all that counts. The
Well, that's what
politician,
well,
that's the politicians. All they want to do is say, "Hey, we created 1,000 jobs."
we're gonna get into that, brother. Let me hit this comment here, Sister Don. I think that more people vote and let their voices be heard, the more candidates will have to address your issues. You're forced to, you force them to. Not necessarily, Sister Donna, I'm going to get to that. Brother Daryl, no, he did not say that. And so, Daryl, be good here. Be good here, right? we just, I invited the man to talk and about voting, brother.
I think he was saying, but I think he was saying about Joe Biden.
Did he say that he is glad to Haitian? Oh, you think the that Biden said that he's glad he sent the Haitians back?
Oh, well, that's yeah. I don't think I said that. I just said that I realized that was one of the things that they did was they sent them back real quick.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, they basically, you guys just got off the boat. Okay, we got a plane right here waiting on you.
Yes,
Right,
that was quick.
Sister G. Bottom line, money talks and BS walks. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're gonna get right into that, Sister G. We need to invest in ourselves and stop giving our money to everyone else. I know, Sister G, but the way, and I know Brother Eback can attest to this, the way American politics works is you have to give money to a politician. They have to have, you have to give them money, right? We have to give them money. And so if you're not, whoever gives them money, they have a list. They have a to-do list. Oh, you gave me $40 million. This is what I'm going to do for you. And so on and so forth. But as Black people, what we usually do is we appeal to them morally. We go to the politician and appeal to them morally instead of appealing to them paying money. Like Dr. Claude Anderson said, if you can't buy your politician, rent them, right? Because you ain't going to, that's how American politics works. You now have to put some money down on the table to get your politician work. Are you familiar, Brother E. Black, with Dr. Claude Anderson and his work?
Yeah, I'm not directly familiar with, but I've actually seen a lot of his like
Yes, yes. And the brother was, I think he was over at the Board of Education for the state of Florida back in the day. Plus, he did some work for not Clinton, but Jimmy Carter. He was in that administration, so he's been around. He's been around, so he just
I've heard him. Trust me, I've heard him, but I'm not familiar with his work too
yeah,
closely.
yeah. So he's got a lot of information, and one of the things he was saying is that he's trying to get us off of this whole if you vote and vote and vote, because this is the problem I have, Brother E. Black, with voting.
Hmm.
I think it's on the surface, it's good. On the surface, it's good, but if on the other side of it, if you know, if you don't know how to play the game right, you can get swiveled around, right? And so we don't know how to play the game right. We think if we appeal to these people morally, they're gonna see our situation. We think everybody has a heart like us. When I say us, I'm talking about Black people,
Yeah.
because we got a heart, man. We're gonna feel sorry for some people, man. We feel for people, but everybody's not built that way. Everybody's not cut that way, and
Hmm.
especially in a system like politics is a system.
Yeah.
Politics doesn't care about color. Politics doesn't care about nothing but the money. Do you did you put the money on the table? Okay, that's all they care about, right?
Hmm.
But we get played because they tell us don't vote for the Republicans because they racist. So they don't even have to come in. They don't even have to come and lobby in our community and tell us what they're gonna do for us. All they got to do is say don't vote for the Republicans. And to me, that's a shame. What do
Yeah,
you
it
say
is.
about that? Do you see it that way, brother, or how do you see it?
I did a video where the Lincoln Project planted five Democratic people for a demonstration at a Republican gathering. Right? They put them in. They put them in khakis. They put them in shirts. They gave them tiki torches to say, "Hey, remember these guys are racist." Democrats are now trying to remind us that these people are racist by putting their own people in the clothes outside of their gathering, and it's one of those things where it's like, yo, that's not enough for us. We need more. Uh, I also, the one thing that I always remember was Malcolm X and the ballot of the bullet, the ballot or the bullet. You
Ballot
know,
or the bullet?
the ballot or the bullet. He spoke to directly to that, and he said that he can't go to the criminal and ask him to pardon himself. He said that. He literally said, "You, we're getting our coalitions together, and we're going back to the criminal and saying, hey, you've done this morally wrong, but you're not." The criminal's gonna say, "I don't care." Like,
Right.
so I think what he specifically spoke to was creating new allies, creating industry allies, creating people who can actually outweigh or get the things passed that are necessary. We talked about, how black people for a long period of time were split along Democrats and Republican. It was damn near 60s 40. Like, black people
When?
were very monolithic, not monolithic, dual parties. What ended up happening was JFK died, and he pushed through, and freaking, what's that guy's name? Goldstein. Oh God, I think it was Goldstein. He ran, and he ended up getting the most black votes ever in history. 96% of the black people voted because LBJ was going to sign the Voting Act, right?
Right.
And that solidified the vote for the black Democrats in the black vote. So, it's one of those things where, like you say, you're just gonna have to create new allies, research, figure out what actually worked and what is gonna work for the future.
Yeah.
And I agree, money does talk. I will say that money does talk. If you don't have enough money in the pot, if you don't have enough warm bodies in the pot, I will say warm bodies does do a lot though.
But
Revolutionary movements will work.
okay, okay. How will a revolutionary, like, we as black people need so many different things, and the government has promised us so many different things, yet they will not deliver on any of those things for us. As far as as far as the way I see it. So what is going on? Like, why are we're voting, we're going out and we're doing all this voting, yet we're still not getting anywhere with some of the things that we need, brother. So what's the issue?
Uh, like I said, we have to. Like I said in the beginning, I believe with the Million Man March, we kind of missed an opportunity. We missed an opportunity to create coalitions and to create a social identity in which what we wanted. You know, that was a missed opportunity. I hate to say it that I don't want to wait generations after generations for us to kind of get our stuff together and to come together and say, this is what we want, A, B, and C. We do have a lot, but what is most important, A, B, or C? I don't mind getting A, I don't mind getting B, I don't mind getting C. But we can't have A through F. We can't have A through G. We can't have A through M on the table. We have to have concise and clear things that we want, whether it's housing, education, healthcare.
Agree.
You
Agreed.
know, and we
Agreed.
have to attack those points head on as a unit. But I always think about what's Washington, not Frederick Douglass and like George W. Du Bois, where Du Bois wanted the talented tenth, right? Du
Okay.
Bois wanted he felt that the African Americans in the top 10 doctors, lawyers would then help the bottom lower half would help. But
Right.
then Frederick Douglass was kind of like, hey, if you have a job, do it with grace, do it with morality, pay your bills, and then you will sooner or later accomplish the needs that you want. Take care of self first because you can't, we're not going to walk you into a burning building. You get what I mean? It's like do the things that are necessary, save money, and then show your worth, and then you'll get the stuff. So you're always going to have these two battles of ideologies and philosophies. But I think with I'm not. First of all, I'm not a sociologist. I didn't take sociology, nor did I take politics. My wife is probably a better politics major than I am. Uh, Also, I don't consider myself a revolutionist. I'm probably more or less a reformist with revolutionary understandings.
Okay. Okay.
So but I do you just gotta like I said, there's a lot of ways to address things, and without a revolution, you're really just talking theory.
Okay, hold that thought, brother. Hold that thought, because we're going to find out what a revolution is. Brother Willie Ding, Dr. Claude Anderson is deep, and he is fire. Yeah, he is, Brother Willie Ding. Glad to see you in the building, brother. Brother Dale Long, most view interview on the Breakfast Club. Absolutely, man. Dude is he is fire. Brother Willie Ding, my favorite Dr. Claude Anderson book is Black Labor, White Wealth. Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. His books are expensive, but man, are they worth it? Are they worth it?
I'm gonna
Now
check
let's
that
talk
one out.
about brother E Black. Let's talk about this revolution, man.
Hmm.
Let's talk about this revolution. What is a revolution? Can you describe and define for us what you mean when you say revolution? Because everybody has a different. If you ask 5 people what a revolution is, 5 people have 5 different definitions of a revolution. So, what is your definition of a revolution as you speak and as you talking about it?
Well, it's the type of revolution. Sometimes you have revolutionary outrage, and then you have revolutionary revolt, where in which the government system gets flipped on its head. And then you have different methodologies in which you are able to sustain the revolution, whether through communist or socialist ideas or capitalist. I think you can have a capitalistic revolution. I think what would be a good example of capitalistic revolution? Gosh, I would say
Civil War.
good idea. Yeah, good one.
Yeah.
The Civil War is definitely a capitalist revolution. It's two battles. It's a battle of two grouping parties wanting to battle over how things are ran in terms of money, and the money and the currency is us.
Okay, right. Yeah.
So in terms of revolution, it is a cultural, sociological way of the group of people demanding change without going through the social norms of, or the current social norms of their own controller or party.
Okay.
Governing system. I'm sorry if I'm jumbling up my words.
Okay. So, I get that. So, now to the people, I think the people look at a revolution as more of an abandoning of whatever's currently going on. For example, the Cuban Revolution, where they just abandoned how the Cuban government was doing. They just abandoned that, and they went back and they went and got what was the cat that was over them? I forgot his name now.
Fidel Castro.
Castro.
Yeah.
Castro. He's a brilliant lawyer, but he was head of that revolution, and he went back into the mountains, and the people went and got him and said, "Come, we need you to come back and lead this revolution so that we can win, so we can get rid of this guy." And they just abandoned everything, and they did everything, the way they want everything. Basically, a lot of stuff new. Yeah. So that's what I think most of our people think a revolution is, where it's gonna be a new government, it's gonna be a new way of doing everything, and I think the way we're doing things now, it's either gonna have to be a revolution or it's gonna have to be a revivement of how we're doing stuff. Because see, the thing is, in my opinion,
which makes you a reformist, not a revolutionary.
I'm a reformist. Okay, I'm a reformist. Yeah. Man, he black. I didn't know I was a reformist. Okay, good. So, yeah. So either you're gonna have to either revolutionize everything. Like that means, it's like when you get an old car and you just have to take all the old parts out and you got to put all new parts in, or you can leave a lot of the parts in, but just tweak some of the stuff that's in there. Yeah. Now, in my opinion, it's gonna be hard to tweak this car or this engine or this machine for us, because the people that actually operate and structure it and do the structural work on it, they're 10 steps ahead of us, right? It's just like you were talking about the voting rights bill. So so they make it so you can vote, but then they structure the the areas, so that even if you vote for their people anyway. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like they got you coming and going. So how can we get around all that and then make this voting thing work? Because I don't see it. Let me just lay it on the line. I don't see voting working for us at all until we understand the quid pro quo system. Are you
Yeah.
familiar with that saying?
Yes. Quid pro quo. Yes.
Yeah, okay. The
A
quid pro
vote for
quo.
a object for an object, or a
You're
deed
right.
for a
I
deed.
do for you, you do for me, right? A favor for a favor, right? That's how American politics work. But we as black people, we don't push that issue. We think if enough of us show up in the street and show people that we are willing to destroy things, that people will say, "Oh well, now we better change something." But what they typically do is throw us bones, and then the core issue never gets addressed. This is the way I have seen it. I don't know. I have seen it because we voted for Democrats and voted and voted and voted and voted and voted for them. But if you look at how much wealth we have now versus how much wealth we had in the 30s, it pretty much hasn't changed. Pretty much hasn't changed. So I'm trying to figure out what are we getting for our vote, brother. Hold on to that. I know you got an answer for that. But hold on. Let me get to some of these comments real quick. Uh, Brother Daniel. A revolutionary has fought over land, wealth, and control of both. We have waged a war. We have waged war over each, and will continue to do so as the powers that be seek to capitalize on such assets. I don't know, brother D. You know, some of our people just don't see it that way. They think voting is going to make it happen. Uh, brother Scorp, I'm a big fan of Fidel Castro. Some love or hate him. Yeah, man. I mean, you know, he wasn't no angel, but definitely did a lot of good for his people. Um,
Him and Che Guevara were really good friends.
Che Guevara, another one, and he was a doctor. He was a
Yeah,
doctor.
yeah,
I read his book. He was man. You really
and
want to read a good book? Read Che Guevara's book.
yeah,
His autobiography.
yeah,
Um,
and not only that, he was in Congo. He was in a couple of African places.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, man. I mean,
he was
he rode
not
his
just
bike.
a he
He
was
rode
not
his
just a,
he rode a motorcycle all over South America, sleeping in barns, and I mean, he was just like like Bob Marley, man. Just a people person of the people, man. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Um,
Yeah.
let me see. Let me get
That's why I say a lot of times, if you a lot of people romanticize revolutions, but you got to actually read what they
Yeah, man.
you have to read what their thinking process is like it's easy to see them in the streets, but like you have to understand that like they
Yeah.
actually had thought processes and actual governmental structures, and these things have been going on since the end of times, and a lot of us are not willing to sacrifice our life for our people.
Oh man. Okay, hold on one second, brother. You back. Um, mind your own magic, Sister Hanifa. As always, hey, Sister Hanifa, good to see you. Hey, Bubba Clan, good to see you. And Sister Hanifa, always, peace to E
Ah,
Black. Um, yeah, brother. So I'm trying to figure out why if we're not seeing a jump in our in what we're doing, like I said, and we're not gaining any ground, why are we continuing to do the same thing? You know what they say? Insanity is doing the same thing and expecting a different result. What results are we expecting and what are we getting? And like if we vote for the Democratic Party, like we voted and we got Trump out of office and we put Biden in, good old Joe in there, what has been a difference for us and what has made things better for us that good old Joe is in the house now.
yeah, yeah, that's tough. Like I said, you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. But right now, you're actually seeing in a lot of places like critical race theory being taken out. You actually have places in Idaho that will tell they're actually taking Indian heritage out of their own, or Wyoming, I should say, Wyoming, land of Indians, the plains, and they're actually taking out Indian heritage just for the sake of critical race theory. White backlash is totally prevalent in today's society. So I think it's a hard choice, but I think the choice sometimes becomes obvious because you see what they really want to be happen. They don't want us here, and they're willing to keep control as long as they can. So I'd rather be on the side that says, "Hey, you know what? We're willing to work with you," rather than the side that says, "You know what? We don't care about you at all, at
Um,
all." They don't have no black leadership. They have no Muslim leadership. They have no reflection of anything other than white. Like, I'm sorry, I get it, but to me, it's not a fact. I don't think they really represent anything core values of what America should be.
who is this? The Democratic Party?
No, the Republican Party.
The Republican Party? Okay, why is that? Why?
Well,
Why? Why?
like I said, I'm all for, if you want to have a conservative talking point, that's fine. I could talk about how a playground gets paid through either taxes of the rich or the taxes of property, or we can talk about that. But what you're seeing is more than that. You're seeing them actually say, "Hey, we're not going to do nothing at all. So what? Suck it up, and we're not going to pay for taxes." And in fact, we're going to get tax rebates, and we're going to get the government to pay for us to even enrich ourselves. So I'm just not really, on a larger scale, I just don't see the Republican Party truly having any standing for me personally. Now, if I was maybe a top 1%er, yeah, I'd probably want to have an extra paycheck. But to me, I don't see them really passing. They had the control of the Senate and the congressional body, and they didn't pass a middle class bill. They gave the other groups of people a tax cut. I'm sorry, like we can talk, we can talk about exactly policies, actual Republican policies that are being that have they either passed or had the chance to pass, and all it is either based on eliminating the barriers that African Americans have been trying to overcome, or they've been making more rich people more rich.
Okay, I got a question for you,
That's just
Black.
my
Hold
personal
on.
opinion.
I got okay, good, brother. I got a question for you, man. Hold on 1 second. Brother Scorp. Joe made it worse. Joe made it worse. In my opinion, I won't be surprised if some states will switch to the Republican Party in the next election or years
I
to
agree.
come. So far, I think black Republicans increased to 19%. Yeah, man. I mean, Joe, good old Joe has done some things that we weren't expecting. Well, some of us were expecting, but I don't think the most black people they didn't expect it. They didn't expect to see what was going on. You know what I mean? But I got a question for you, brother E Black. Excuse me. Wh- how, uh, how come the Asians aren't having the issues that we're having? Like when they want something done, it seems like it gets done
Yeah.
quietly and it gets done. Or Latinos, or obviously white people, when they want stuff to get done, it gets done. Why are we having so many problems? If we're voting just as much as them per capita, how come we're not having the same success? When I say success, I mean the issues that core issues that we're dealing with being dealt with. Why are we having such a problem if we're voting so much?
I agree. Contrary to belief that other than whites, blacks are the next largest voting group per capita.
Okay.
We we totally outnumber the Latinos that are here. They don't vote as much, and also the Asian people do not vote as much. But the one thing I will say is, like I said, it goes back to what I said earlier. We don't have a traditional trade. We're too much on the service side. We need to be more on the product side. Asians have uh, banking. They have businesses. They
You
have
have
things.
banks.
We don't have. Trust me. We're on in terms of the product and service side. We're more service side.
Right. Um, so, in your opinion, what's your opinion? that so okay, so are you saying that because we like Dr. Claude understand, you got to have industries to back up your voting is because so if that's the case, why don't we just get industries? What's stopping us from getting these industries going and
Probably
and
the
and coming into the understanding? In other words, instead of focusing on voting,
mhm.
like the Asian, like you said, we vote more than the Asians, but yet the Asians get more stuff done. We vote more than the Latinos, yet the Latinos get more stuff done. We probably vote just as much as white people, yet they get more stuff done. They get more things done in their communities. So what how do we in why are we still focusing on voting instead of focusing on creating these other entities or these industries so that we can, when we do vote, it matters and people will respect our vote, right? Like, because right now, I mean, you tell me if I'm wrong. Do you see anybody actually going to the black community asking for you to vote for Democrats? They usually don't. They usually just tell you who's running. Hey, this person's running. Vote for them. They don't say vote for this person because they got good policies, a good thing. I'm gonna tell you about me. I don't care if you're a Democrat or a Republican. If you're gonna do what I want you to do, I'll vote for you. If you're gonna help my community, I'm gonna vote for you. I don't care if you're Democrat, Republican, whatever, independent, Green Party, whatever. If you're gonna do what I need you to do, and you got a good chance of winning, I will vote for you.
Yeah.
Right?
But the key is a good chance of winning.
Right. That's the thing. So that's the but see,
Symbolic
so that's
votes
the
don't
thing.
count.
But yeah,
It's
but that's the saying. That's what I would do without in the situation we're in now.
yeah.
In a situation where we had industries backing us, see, we could approach the thing a whole different way. Like white people, they now they got factions within them within their party, and they get together and say, "Hey, let's put all our energies behind this person. You other guys, yeah, you guys. Well, all you guys are gonna do is split the vote up. Let's fuse our energies toward this one person, right? And they can back and they'll have a dinner and sit down and talk about it, right?
Yeah.
But we don't do that, right? Because they throw us one candidate and say, this person's running. Make sure you vote for him. He ain't a racist Republican. But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, I don't see us getting anywhere with that. How do we
No.
get somewhere if
You
we
know,
continue doing that?
the fact of the matter is this is that 4 out of 10 eligible voters are now Gen Zers. We have to figure out what the future is looking for. More, we're producing more entrepreneurs. We're producing more or less people who are independent minded. Uh, like it or not, they have their own goals. We need to start talking back to our youth, figuring out what they want based on the amount that based on what they want to do right now. We're whether we like it or not, we're in the YouTube generation. What do they want? 4 out of 10 of our eligible voters are now probably under the age of 25.
Okay.
So we need to start going back to them saying, hey, what do you guys really want? Do you guys want to make money? Well, let's talk about taxes. Do you guys understand about what healthcare? You guys, I'm pretty sure, have a lot of healthcare issues. Start having an open dialogue and conversation that is revamped, and we can essentially pitch to them and say, you know what? This is why we fought for civil rights. But you guys may not understand what it is. What do you guys want? Let's talk about it. You guys are now making a lot of money off this YouTube. I'm sure you guys want to keep a lot of the money. Let's come together and speak about it. Now, if you understand like what YouTube is actually going through is a lot of black creators are being shadow banned, right?
Yes.
So you can fuse those two ideologies and then you can then come together and make a coalition. But what's happening is we're not even reaching back to our generation of Gen Zers, blaming them for most of our ill wills, and then we're leaving our future coalition out. You got to build. You have to speak back to the generation before. You have to speak to the generation of ahead of you. You got to understand where we're both coming from. So that's my idea. I without a total go out in the streets and break every window approach, there that's the only way that you're going to get any results. It's to go back and tell your 25-year-old, 24-year-old, hey, this is what we want, or what do you guys want?
Well, I feel like that could come, but I feel like that would be after creating the businesses and creating the industries that we were talking about earlier. Because
But
if you
they're
don't have the
creating the
industry,
businesses. They're
huh?
creating they're the future of our business, of our country. The Gen Zers.
Yeah, yeah, I hear you, but they they won't have a sensitivity to what's going on on the mass scale in the black community because they're going to be that 0.001% that doesn't have to deal with living in the hood. So why there we're gonna have to we're gonna have to show there's gonna have to be a show of solidarity at some
Mm-hmm.
point. You know what I mean? Because if we just say, oh well, we just need a coalition to do this, that person that you're talking about is gonna say, why do I need to do that? I'm rich already, right?
Mm-hmm.
Haven't
Yeah.
we heard that before? I'm rich.
Yeah.
I got a robe, I got shoes, I got this, I got that. Why do I need to even be down with you? Right?
Yeah.
I'm only down with the people that's going to listen to me,
Yeah.
right? And so that I think we're gonna. I think it. But if we had a like like they do in every other place, political action committees,
Mm-hmm.
and backed up by industries,
Yes.
then I think we'd have a louder voice. The vote would matter more, and we'd have a louder voice when we said, "Hey," just like we were talking about. I don't know. Was I talking to you about it? Maybe I was talking to somebody else about how the hair weave industry works.
Yeah.
How if black women today, right now, if they all said to themselves, we're not going to buy no more weaves from nobody unless they're black, okay? The Korean community would have to come and sit down with us and say, okay, what do you guys want? That would totally, that would totally, that would totally offset their business model, and they would have to come in and sit down and talk to us, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, the same thing with the government. They would have to, if we had industries that we could say, okay, if you are not, if we send a politician up to Washington and he don't do what we say, we're going to choke this industry.
Yeah. And
Then they
that's
would have to
exactly,
say, okay, we got to sit down and talk to you.
well, that's exactly what I'm saying is that you can't, you have, or I guess it's just my philosophy is that the youth really are the foot soldiers of any political revolution or any policy, you know, and then you have your middle class based people like me who are essentially the backbone providing the housing, the shelter for the future, right? We're the ones doing the actual work and the job. So what I'm saying is that make sure that we're plugged into what the children actually care about
Right?
because they're not going to fight for nothing.
Right.
They want to, so don't go, so we don't need to be so entrenched in the way that we are thinking things should be, but unless, but we need to also inspire the past generation or the past, the future generation into understanding what we're doing or what we want to be done. And then we also have to have an exchange of ideas and philosophy. So like you said, you know, somebody might get rich, but as long as we've understood where they're coming from, then maybe we can change our policies to at least include them because that's the only way you're going to get a coalition is if you're exchanging. I may not like the fact that you don't care about race no more, but I do mind that I want my paycheck still through taxation. So we're going to have that exchange. But if we don't know, then I'm talking about race and you're talking about taxation. We're not going to get anything resolved. We're just going to have two separate coalitions and both attacking an issue.
I hear what you're saying, man. I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
But
I'm trying not to
can
be politically correct. I'm trying
yeah,
not to
all
be.
right. No,
But
hey, don't worry about it,
this is
man.
a true answer for my this is my true answer.
You doing fine, brother. Don't even worry
Yeah.
about it, man. We just talking. Brother Scorp, I've been hearing that lately. E Black shadow ban. ScrewTube has been acting funny to some black content creators, especially black men. At the same time, they claim to be down with BLM.
Mm-hmm.
Sister G, shut them all down. Sports, entertainment, beauty, nails, restaurants. etc. Support black owned and operated. Period.
Yeah.
Well, Sister G, I don't think enough of our people would do that. I think it would have to be, and the people that actually have in a particular industry by the ear is black women have the beauty supply industry by the ear. Like you said, the beauty supply, nail shops, the black women would shut that industry down.
Yes.
They could do it right now today if they wanted to, but they don't know how, and they don't know, and they think they're gonna lose out if they do. So they too scared to do it, in my opinion. But it really is not even on them. But I'm just saying they could, because of they are really. I would think there's probably at least 85% of those two markets is black women. You know what I mean? So if they was to leave, I mean, they leave only 15% of the market. The market would go underwater, and then the Koreans would come knocking on the door. What do you guys want? You want us to give money to your schools? No problem. You want us to give money to this? No problem. This issue, that issue? No problem. Just come back and shop with us. That's how they would do it. And I think the politicians would do the same thing. Once that we set up the industries that we could chokehold, they could say, hey, like Sister Glenda was saying, sports, and hey, hey, we're not dunking no more basketballs until this issue get resolved.
Yeah.
We're not running no more touchdowns till this issue get resolved. We're
Well,
not
the
doing
NFL went through
nothing,
that.
huh?
The NFL went through that. They changed their attitude, kind of.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about. See, that was the NFL, but the NBA still doing their thing. MLB doing it. I mean, everybody who has an interest in our situation stuck together and said, "We're not going to do this." Just like when the white people threw that tea off those boats in the Boston Tea Party. They was from 13 different states, but they all got together to throw that tea off that boat, right? Because they said we're not going to pay taxes on tea, and then when we want to be represented, we can't be represented. We're not doing that. We're not paying taxes to you no more, right? So even though the English government had gave them everything, right? They gave them the land grants, they gave them the equipment, horses, they gave them everything just to go out there and do it. And then they turned around and said, "F you, we not with the program no more," right? But what I'm saying is they all got together on that boat, coming from all the different places, on the one accord, and then they got together on one accord to fight the British, to tell them, "Hey, look, you are not going. We're not going. This is our land. We're not going to be with you no more," right? But so, like Malcolm X also said, if you knew what a revolution really was, you wouldn't even use the word, right? He
Yeah.
said a revolution is bloody.
Yeah.
A revolution is bloody, and we're gonna have to spill some blood. Well, what does that mean in today's world? In today's world, it might not mean we spilling red blood, but it might be we spilling some blood in time and effort and energy trying to make it work, right?
Yeah.
Voting, in my opinion, at this point for us as black people, is difficult to get things done, and the numbers bear it out. We vote and
So
vote
what you're
and vote.
saying is that we should have like basically a no vote period. Like
I'm saying we should.
say for 1 year, 2020, no black people vote anywhere in the country.
I'm saying we should get together, and we should say, hey, we have all these similar issues, and what would be a solution for and then come up with solutions for those issues. We should go to both parties, just like Ice Cube did. Go to both parties and say, these are our issues. These are the solutions we got for these issues. Can you make any of this happen? Whoever says they can make the most stuff on that list happen, we'll vote for that person. Whoever don't, we won't. We won't do it, right? Or if either one of them say, hey, we can't make none of that happen, then we just don't vote for them. We just don't vote. And instead of putting our energies towards voting, we put our energies towards creating industries for ourselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
food, clothing,
understand.
shelter, and then everything else. And I
Hey,
think if
Brother
huh?
Clarence, real quick, can I get 2 minutes?
Yeah, brother.
Okay, I'll be right back.
Okay, yes, sir. Yes, sir. What do y'all think, man? What do y'all think? What do y'all think about Brother E Black's position? I mean, is it is he making a good uh representation for why we should be voting in every election, or am I asking him good questions to try to find out? I mean, are you guys asking good questions? Everybody's asking good questions, but I have my own opinion. But Scorp, Ice Cube, and Irving are today's revolutionaries to some people. Yeah, man. I mean, the guy went together. The guy went out there and put a whole program together. Went to both sides, and nobody wanted to get back with him. Nobody wants. I mean, at least Trump got back to him, but I mean, nobody really wants to do anything with it. Uh, Brother R, I missed out on most of it, unfortunately. Don't worry, brother R. You can catch on the replay. Uh, but Tristan, I think the world we live in is financially based. We should start a crowd fund and say we will financially back whoever support us, and things will get done. In my opinion, you know what, bro? Sometimes, yeah, but what you need, see, these people are good, man. They 10 steps ahead of the game, man. They already, what I mean. It's like playing somebody who who played chess for 10 years ahead of you, and it's like your first day playing chess. I mean, they're always going to be ahead of you, and they'll change the rules when you're about to win. They're going to change the rules, so so that person can't change the rules. You got to make your own chessboard. You got to make your own chessboard and be familiar with it. And so, how do you do that? You're gonna have to create some. You're gonna have to create some. Create some. Create your own industries. You have to create your own industry. That's the only way it's gonna work. Sister G, no, bro. See, I still don't see the benefit of voting. No, I don't see the. I'm not saying there's a benefit in voting at this point in the game, Sister G. I'm saying, like Dr. Claude Anderson, if you have, um, if you have financial support behind you, and you have the threat of being able to choke off an industry that the people need, then these politicians will listen to you, right? They'll listen to you, but they won't. They're not going to be afraid to do anything if we don't have industries that we can choke off. That if you don't do what we say, like you know, they can. There's other people that the Israelis can choke off the gun industry because they're the ones that actually have the gun. They're the biggest gun manufacturers. They can choke off the gun industry, the weapons industry, right? The who else? The Italians. Yeah, everybody has an industry they can choke off, right? But what about us? Like Brother E Black said, I agree with him on this one. You, we are too much on the singing and dancing side of the situation instead of the nuts and bolts side. So we got to create the industries, not just be, partakers. Um, I see you back, Brother E Black. Hold on, let me go through these chats real quick. Couple of them. Well, Arshawn, I do believe there's benefit to voting if we know how. We don't know how to use our vote, use our leverage. That's what I'm saying, brother Arshawn. In my opinion, the leverage comes from. See, this is why, like E Black even said it himself. We vote more than the Asians, more than the Latinos, yet they get more stuff done. How are they able to get more stuff done, and we vote more? So obviously, voting is not what the vote itself is not what's actually making it happen. Has to be something else behind the vote that's actually getting it done, right? So, yeah, what I'm saying, it's voting, but it has to go with a business. You have to have a business. Um, you have to have the industrial setup so that the people can say, "Oh, they got industries." If we don't do what they asking us to do, then they're gonna choke that industry off. Anyway, but Scorp, I don't agree with.
Can I jump on that last
Yeah, yeah. Go
topic?
ahead, brother. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, you know, for us to leverage our vote, we have to understand what our leverage is. You have to it's like boxing. When you're into boxing, you got to understand why you sit back on your back foot. That's what knowing how to use your leverage. So you got to know how to use the leverage, not just say you have leverage, but know how to use it effectively. So in one instance, we're saying, yes, our vote may not count, but we also have to understand the mental and the physical and the spiritual and the political know-how of what the voting means. So when we do vote, we have to know how to use it effectively, and then stay plugged into the system. Stay talking with your constituencies. Stay talking in your educational groups. Stay talking in your business meetings. Whether we like to believe it or not, there's town halls everywhere. Whether we like to believe it or not, there's economic town halls everywhere. Learn how to use your leverage, but don't just say you have leverage. Everybody has a puncher's chance. Everybody, that's what voting is. Voting is a puncher's chance. Leverage means that you know how to use what you've been given. So use it effectively.
All
You
right.
know, you know what I mean? Like use it effect. Like Brother Clarence, right now, if you wanted to say, "Hey, how do I make my vote more effective?" Well, go figure out where politicians are, who they're advertising to, the business leaders, the organizational groups, and go with them. And that's how you use your vote effectively. Me just sitting in the house doesn't make my vote effective. It just makes it another count.
Okay, brother. Okay.
I know.
I
Let's
I
be
mean,
honest.
no, it makes sense. It makes sense. I just, like I said, I'm for more where, I'm more of looking at the numbers, and I
Yeah.
agree with you that we
But
do the most.
they look at our numbers. They look at our zip codes. They will
I
say in your zip code, 30% of your zip code is registered to vote. You have 100,000 people. That means we have 30,000 people in your area, right?
right.
Out of those 30,000 eligible people, what was the last two elections? How many percentage of those people voted? 8%. Well, that means 1,500 votes. Who's going to come to that area to,
Yeah.
to get votes? So using the numbers by voting, first of all, and not only that, voting for who what they feel that they can use. So it's a dual process.
I hear you, brother. I hear you. Like I
You
said,
got
I
swinging.
said, I hear you, man. I hear you, but well, let me get back to it. Let me hit these chats real quick. I don't agree with Black TV 100% when it comes to voting, but I do respect his content. Yeah, I'm the same way, brother. I respect the brother immensely, uh, but I don't agree with him, brother Daniel.
That's fine.
Family, let's go out and check out the new Black Wall Street in Strongest, Georgia, Stonecrest, Georgia. All Black and owned and operated, multi-billion-dollar enterprise owned for us and by us, and no vote got this started. Okay,
Mm.
all right. Thank you, brother D, for that one. Brother Arshawn, they can get more stuff done because their vote is actually up for grabs. If we don't vote from a neutral position and keep voting 90% Democrat, we aren't a viable group.
There
Yeah,
you go.
that's the point I'm trying to make, brother R, is that the Democrats don't even have to do nothing to get our vote, and they don't have to do nothing to keep our vote. Normally, see, when white people vote or Asians or Latinos vote, if the person don't vote for the way make things go the way they want them to go, they vote for somebody else. Man, it don't matter what the Democrats do. The next election, black people voting for Democrats. Next
Yeah.
election, black people voting for Democrats. They could say we not doing nothing for you. Black people next election voting for the Democrats. Why? Because all the Democrat got to do is come out and say that person's a Republican and they racist. Don't vote for them. Vote for me, and that's it. They don't have to show and prove nothing. And that's where I'm coming to, where I feel like this situation is rigged against us, and we watching other people who don't even put out as much energy into it as we do succeed more, and we getting less out of the deal because we getting the crumbs off the table instead of getting the cake. And so I think we should be getting the cake since we spent all of that time suffering for it, we should be at least getting to eat the cake. Let me move down here. Some of these. But Tristan, I agree. I think we can disrupt any industry. We had to change our focus, be more innovative, and keep our intellectual property. We can't choke an industry if we sell our ideas as well. There you go. There you go, brother Tristan. That's what I'm talking about. Couple more, man. Arshawn, our voting needs to be more organized like a labor union, dedicated, consistent, willing to do the work and hit the streets. Brother E Black, anytime I say anything, man, you welcome to jump in at any time, brother. I'm just reading these chats, catching up.
No, you cooking, man. You cooking.
Okay, right on. Brother R, we actually falling for bad habits in politics, just like everywhere else. It's the clean plate mentality. It's okay to push away from the table. It's okay not to vote on an issue or office. Yeah, you know it is, and it's okay. It's okay to switch parties. That's the thing. It's okay to switch parties. See, we think, man, I'm a Democrat. I got to be a Democrat, and that's for all my life. No, this election, maybe the Democrats got a better agenda. Next election, maybe the Republicans got a better agenda. Next election, maybe the Democrats got a better agenda. Right? I mean, it's okay you can switch parties, right? This is America, right? You can't switch parties. You don't have to just be a Democrat or a Republican. So, you know, it's
yeah, I think with that, I agree. You know, actually not voting is a political tool. I think also what you've seen in Virginia, I'm really interested in seeing what's going to be the outcome from Virginia, because essentially the Democrats got caught with their pants down with the exact same thing that you're saying, you know, hey, vote for us, we're not racist. And the black people said, well, last year y'all ain't been doing nothing.
right.
So I'm really interested in seeing over the next year to see what the Democrats kind of come up with, because this is honestly in a presidential year, you know, the midterms are most important. This is where you get your most of your stuff, because most of the candidates now are in political mode. They're trying to get elected for next November.
Right.
So, I mean, it's either now or never. We either get these agendas signed, and it's gonna be tough. I think we definitely should be we should be pressing our politicians more right now, especially now. If you guys want a midterm that's good for the Democrats, we should be pressing them now, making phone calls, getting coalitions together, doing the things that are necessary.
So you saying, Brother E Black, that from this position where we're at right now, the best thing we can do is just organize amongst ourselves. And then when you say push the politician, how would we push them? How would we push a politician in this situation?
Put out a national statement. The black people will not vote Democrat for the midterms.
But we got people like Anton, brother. We got people like Anton that say, I'm not going to do, especially the ones that have the they have upper income. They typically will say, you know, I'm not going to rock with nothing just because of the color of their skin or cultural background. I'm just going to rock with who's good, whoever feels good to me.
Yeah.
How would we get around that?
I think that's a tough one. I think no matter what, you're just gonna have to get as many people as you can. You know, no politics are absolute. There is no politics that are absolute. So, you know, I think if you want to get the average man, the middle class, lower class, even some upper middle class people to jump on board, you're gonna have to have a national message within our people. And I'm for it. I'm like, you know, hey, if we say, hey, next November we're not voting unless we get X, Y, Z done, make a public statement, make a March statement, get the Black Coalition together, say, hey, this is what we want, A, B, and C. I think by November, you'll start seeing a better outcome for us. But I don't think it's going to happen because I think there's too many cowards.
What do you mean a better outcome? You mean the people that you want elected?
You'll see a better outcome in terms of bills being passed. Right now we have the majority. We have the votes. We can push through most of the stuff that's necessary.
If we got the majority, brother, how come? See, this is what I don't understand.
Yeah.
If we have the majority, how come things are so bad for us as black people if we have the majority? If we have all this so quote unquote power, we have all this quote unquote, um, we have all these quote unquote representatives. How come? How come we in the situation we in, man? What's going on?
Like I said, it's just not effective voting. I just don't think we have effective voting. We're just, like you say, you're voting
What is
blindly.
effective voting? What does that mean?
Effective voting, meaning that, you're voting from a standpoint of a coalition rather than an individual.
Okay,
Or
what would be the difference?
the individual is usually tied to party politics. You know,
Okay,
you got to understand a lot of there is not a lot of Republican offices. They don't vote necessarily. Like they don't. It's not like the Republicans are sitting out here knocking door to door either.
no, no, they have
They
dinners
have
and
dog
luncheons.
whistles. They have ideologies
Yeah,
just as much. So you know, but they understand what they want to do. They understand that their party is representing them. We need to actually have a dog whistle for them to say, "Hey, y'all not representing us."
but here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. Here's the difference, in my opinion, between other communities and us. When they go to other communities, they'll say, "You see that bridge? We're going to fix that bridge. You see
Mm-hmm.
that road? We're going to fix that road. Oh, you want this done? Okay, we'll do that. You want that done? We'll do that." When it comes to us, they don't say that. They come to us and say, "We're going to make a difference. We're
Yeah.
going to make a change. We're going to make things better." It's a lot of cliches that don't really have a definitive objective that we can measure, and say a metric and say, okay, you did this. Okay, we can give you credit for
Yes.
doing it because this was done. You promised you was going to do it, and it was done. Nothing's never done like that, and so that's where we get caught up. And so what we got to do now is take the benefits that fall off of white people's table, or we got to take the benefits that fall off the Asian people's table, or take the benefits that fall off of the Latino people's table, and we'll say, and we tell ourselves, we did good. We did good because this crumb fell off the table here. And then the politician will make it seem like, oh yeah, I meant for that crumb to fall off the table for you, right? That was
Yeah.
the plan. It was a plan was for it to fall off the table for you. And I'm saying we got to decide what we want more. Do we want to continue this road and keep telling ourselves that we're doing something, or do we take, put our, take our name out of the hat and say, okay, we ain't gonna do nothing until this gets. We're gonna go back and talk about it amongst ourselves and resolve this issue.
But it has to be agreed upon. It has to be a national statement. I feel. I agree. I agree everything you say. But it has to be a national statement,
I
or
agree.
else
I agree with that too. I agree with
it's
it.
just another just. It's essentially they're just gonna weed off most of us.
But that's the question, brother. You like, how do we all get together? How?
Mm-hmm.
10 of us can't even be in the same room without getting mad at one. Somebody gonna get mad at somebody and say something to somebody. How do
Yeah.
we learn how to put our issues down and between each other and say, hey, we got a common goal. We got the common goal, like our ancestors used to be able to do. Our ancestors used to be able to say, okay, we're not going to see crops growing on that land there, but we got to cultivate it so that one day our children's children will be able to cultivate that land over there. You dig what I'm saying? They was
Yeah.
able to make sacrifices for the common goal.
Well, I mean, you look at history how this has actually been done. Is it door to door? That's all you can do is just start from the bottom, get grassroots ideologies, and push them towards the forefront, and get control of your organizations.
Okay.
And that's the hardest part is that the organizations need enough money, and you in this day and age, it's tough, man.
Yeah.
It's tough, especially I would say this, especially around the gay and the civil rights things with them.
Yeah.
It's hard to kind of say, like they're. It's almost impossible to have like a black male led group.
Yeah.
because you're gonna have to deal with the LGBT, right?
Right.
And then, but basically, because most black men are conservative, you're just not going to be able to deal with it.
Right.
So it's
Right.
like, so it's. I would almost say it's harder today because you have to be more inclusive. But I do think it's possible with just basic door to door action. You're just going to have to do it. You're just going to have to go door to door, get your coalitions to go together, make sure you have a strong organizational with good mission statements and God, I'm thinking of another way, but quorum is what I'm thinking. Because you know your organization can get taken over, right?
Yes.
You could
That has
be
happened many times. It
you
happened in
can be
hip hop. It happened in happened
you
many,
can be
many times.
outvoted on your own out of your own nonprofit. So
Yeah.
you know, make sure you have a good just a good solid base, you know. And once you get that, then you're just gonna have to do the hard work that is necessary, knock door to door, make sure you're getting the ideas of the people that are you're trying to represent, get proper leadership, and do the hard work. It's just that's politics. I'm sorry, this is not a game. Like I understand we have the internet and we can distribute more messages more effectively, but there's something still about going into nursing homes. There's still something about walking into your local gymnasium and your local places of gatherings. You know, there's you still got to walk into the churches. You still have to walk into these places. So if you're not willing to do that, then you're never going to get your message effectively across.
All right, right on. Let me catch up on the chats, brother. Brother Arshawn, I think we need to have a standard. We all vote. We commit to it for 12 years. We immediately all register and voted. We also only vote for local issues until the state we live in produces policy.
Yeah.
Maybe so, brother Arshawn. That's true, but that's the thing, man. I think we got to stop committing to these political parties and commit to who's going to do for us. I don't see the Asians doing anything like that. Okay, I see you. Got to ride you, brother E Black. You gotta move on. You
You're
got some
not
stuff you got to
supposed to
do.
tell nobody.
I'm not supposed to. Why, brother? Brother, man, this ain't the mothership, man. We family, man. We you know what I'm saying? We forget all that, man. Forget it.
Yeah.
We family here, man. So that's how we do it, man. We just talk straight up, man. But I hear what you're saying. I should be more professional, brother E Black. Thank you for that, and I appreciate it. I'll try to learn from that, brother. I ain't as polished as you, man. I ain't polished as you.
Trust me, I'm trash right now.
Well, brother E Black, man, I appreciate you coming through, man. You got some final thoughts, man, you want to drop on us before I let you go, man?
First of all, whenever I get together with black men and we have conversations, that are so enriched into our daily life. I'm Brother Clarence is a little older than me. I'm a little older, and then you have people like Arshawn, Dave in the chat, and you kind of speak to we kind of speak to the ideologies that right now what black people are going through, and I think I'm hoping that everybody looks back to this, that we're not too far off, and we did help somebody. If that it wasn't the
Hopefully.
case, I tried.
Put some
All right.
ideas on the table.
Yeah, I
Just put some
tried.
ideas. Put some ideas
And
on
I'm
the
not,
table.
like I said, I'm not a politician. I'm not a sociologist. I don't study this for a long time, but I base my stuff on a lot of my experiences. So, forgive me if I'm wrong with stats, or just totally off kilter, but I just hope everybody just really takes the time and just, really put back into their community and do the hard work that's necessary, and stop expecting YouTube to solve your issues. YouTube is going to give you the ideas, but you're still going to have to leave this door and go out and make change in your community.
All
And that's
right.
it.
Good.
And follow me
Good
on
man.
YouTube,
Yeah, yeah.
Eblacktv.
What's your handle, brother? How can they get in touch with you?
Just just look online, Eblacktv on every platform, Twitter, Snapchat. Shoot, I got a Reddit page. I got a
Okay.
Facebook group. I got a Facebook page.
Okay.
But right now I'm focusing on my YouTube channel. So if you can go to my YouTube channel, and just click the link of subscribe and ring the bell because I got some good stuff coming up soon.
Okay, right on, man. We're gonna look for that. We're gonna look for
Thank
that.
you again. Thank you
Thank
again,
you,
RG.
brother. And anytime you want to come back, man, just hit me up, man. I'll hit you up if we want to talk about something else, man. But I'll be getting back at you, E Black.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. That's
Man,
E Black.
we talk. Look, like I said, anytime you need me, you got me.
Right on, man. I appreciate that. Same here, brother. Same here. Same here. All right, that was brother E Black. Um, what do y'all think? What do y'all think? Brother E Black came through. He shared what he shared what he shared. Let me catch up on the chat, y'all, real quick before I get all of y'all. Sister G, research and collectively elect. Maybe things will turn in our favor, even if we most are selected. You know what? We got to see, brother G. I mean, Sister G. I don't think. I think brother E Black. He's a little more of an optimist than I am. You know what I mean? I look at it from the hard numbers, the hard data. I had a chart. I didn't even get to that chart because we didn't even get that deep yet. But I'm gonna bring that chart up in just a minute for y'all. But yes, Sister G, he's a little more optimistic than me. Brother Arshawn, once we have established we will vote in mass, we can weaponize the vote to influence national elections. Brother, we're not going to do nothing with the voting. Voting is none of the nothing. All we're going to do is weaponize people other than us. We're gonna support their policies. The only time we're going to support our policies is if we put money in the pot. If you put money in the pot, then they have to, when they see that money there with your name on it, they're going to say, oh, and they see your request and your name, they know, okay, we got to get this done for this person. That's why we got this money. But until we able to do that, and then and it's not only putting money in the pot, you got to have an industry that you can choke off. See, white people have industries they can choke off right now. Right now, if white people want you to, if they want to choke off the toilet paper industry, they could choke off the toilet paper industry. You done. So whoever's behind that, they're gonna get what they want done. They're gonna get it. They're gonna get it done. Asians can choke off a lot of different industries. The Asian can choke off a lot of different industries. They gotta deal with it. Our Latino brothers and sisters, they can choke off. Did you eat a salad today? They can just completely choke off the fruit and vegetable industry. Just completely kill it. All they got to do is say, we're not doing this no more, and walk away from it and completely kill it. What industry you got that you're going to choke off? See, you've been in, the greed has been put into us so deep that they have the fear of us. We have more greed than self-love. And so our personal greed, we're not going to take it. We're not going to make what's the word I want to use? Sacrifice. We're not going to sacrifice to make our thing work as a group, right? I got me a nice big house. I got me a nice big car. What do I need to sacrifice anything to help them Negroes over there for? Right? That's what most of our, people that make money do. But I disagree, brother R. If we don't have industries that we can, it's a two-part system. You got to put money in the pot, and then you got to be able to back that money up with the threat of being able to cut an industry off. With those two things, you'll be able to get a lot more accomplished. But they don't fear that from us. We don't. Number one, we're not putting money in the pot. Number two, we don't have industries we can cut off. We do have industries we can cut off. Let me rephrase that. We do have industries we can cut off, but we don't see it that way. We're not looking at it that way. Like Sister Glenda said, we could shut down the entertainment industry today. Mr. Farrakhan said, we are the music industry. We are the music industry. If every music writer, producer, and everything, all the black ones just decided to walk away and say, we're not going to do that no more. But how many of them have enough savings to last them to, and how many of them are willing to struggle for the betterment of the next man? Most of them are not, right? Most of them are not. So that's where we got some issues going on, brother R. Brother R. But like E Black said, if we're only bringing 1,500 people and only there, here, or there, we're done. But no, see, the Asians are bringing less than that. but they getting a lot of stuff done. That's what I'm saying. They're getting a lot of stuff done. We are not. What's wrong with us? What's wrong with us? How come we not getting all? Well, how come they're getting everything done and we're not getting everything done? They're sending less people to the polls, yet they're getting more out of it than we are. What's going on? See, that's my brother. I appreciate and respect him, but he never really asked that question, right? What is going on? What's going on? How come they're sending less people to the polls and they're getting more done than we are? Something's going on there. Sister Good facts that Rashawn couldn't have said it better. Absolutely. Okay. Sister G, suck it up and get down to business at hand at Brother C and have a few regulators in the room just in case. Yeah, when we'd have to. We have to. I mean, unfortunately, our people, especially the ones that have a little bit more money or status or whatever, they don't really see the benefit and overall how we could help each other. Peace to King. What's going on with you, King? Glad you stopped by, man. Give us a drive-by like, man. I appreciate y'all, man. I always shout y'all out. You guys go check out Conversation with King. Check out Eblacktv. Check all those guys out, man. Good content creators. Brother Scorp, it was a great show, Brother Clarence. Appreciate it. It's not over yet, Brother Scorp. Give me another half an hour, man, because I gotta dig these. I got some numbers, some facts. See, I don't just talk out of my heart here. I got some facts and numbers to show you. See, because we want you to be right and exact when you talk about what's happening here. All them other people, they say what they feel, right? We're gonna show you some numbers. We're gonna do the mathematics so that you can see what's going on. Brother R, I apologize, Brother Clan, but it's far easier to get black people to push a button than to give up money, something they don't believe in. You're right about that, brother. I can't deny that. I could convince my nephew to vote before he gave up $5. Yeah, it's the way we look at it, brother. It's the way we look at it. So it's gonna take a whole mental change. We're gonna have to see the ugly truth. See, I don't see my problem is we got people like Brother Eblack that he says it, but he says it in a soft language. He says it softly so that it's not as alarming as it should be. See, when I talk, I'm saying I'm saying sounding an alarm. Hey, you're doing all this voting and you're not getting nowhere. But see, Brother E. Black saying the exact same thing, but he's saying it in a way where it's not alarming. Well, we need to put some coalition together and then we can make a move, start knocking on some doors. Why we need to knock on doors? Why? Because stuff ain't happening the way it's supposed to happen, right? Then you don't see in the Constitution, hey, go knock on doors. You ain't supposed to be knocking on doors. You're supposed to put one vote, one ballot, one vote, right? And that's supposed to matter to get us where we're supposed to go, right? But it's not happening that way. And I'm saying it out loud. He's saying it another way. Oh, well, go get we got to do all this other stuff, right? But he's saying the exact same thing I'm saying. Okay, y'all, check this out. See, I got some numbers, man. I didn't just come here just to talk. I got some numbers here. Let's check out some numbers. Okay, in 1936, 44% of black people voted for the Democratic Party. That's in 1936. 37% voted for the Republican Party. 37%. So it's pretty evenly matched. It's pretty evenly what happened. What happened in the 60s? What happened? In 1960, it got 1956 and 1960. That's when the Democrats really started making some real big headway and never giving up ground. But what happened? Black people fell in love with Jack Kennedy. They fell in love with Jack Kennedy. Then they fell in love with Bobby Kennedy, both of whom unfortunately were assassinated. But they fell in love with the Kennedy brothers. Now, if you can vote for the Kennedy brothers and their daddy was a staunch racist, you can vote. And he was a booze runner, and he after doing criminal behavior, put his boys through law school, right? Jack Kennedy, you fell in love, but black people fell in love with Jack Kennedy, right? Here's 1960, in 1964, by the time they had fell in love with not only Jack Kennedy, but Bobby Kennedy. And the Democratic Party never looked back. They never looked back. You as black people been voting for Democrats. I mean, at the least amount, 75% since 1972. Oh, I think 2016 it was the lowest. No. 2012, 69% of black people voted for the ones that did voted for the Democratic Party. Overwhelmingly Democrat. You see these numbers? Okay, that's just the party. Now, let's look at voting for the president. 1936, 71% of black people voted Democrat for the Democratic president. I mean, it's been up in the 80s most of the time ever since then. Like I said, we got into the 60s, 1960. You got Jack Kennedy right around here and Bobby Kennedy right around in there. Man, 94% of people, because y'all fell in love with the Kennedy brothers, right? And it just stayed up in the 80s ever since. Never came down. This is from Black Demographics. Blackdemographics.com. You can go look it up. Source, Joint Center for Political and Economic Studies and Pew Research Center. So we ain't playing around up in here. We ain't playing around up in here. People come in here and think we just talking out the side of our necks. We looking at actually numbers that actually mean something, right? We ain't playing no games around here. Let's see. Brother Arshawn, U.S. voting could be done next election. Us having control of us voting could be done next election. Us having control of an industry or creating one or financing a political action committee is a generous or more way. That's what I'm. That's all I'm trying to say, brother R. That's all I'm trying to say. You are not going to do it no other kind of way. Brother E Black came in and basically proved what I said. That everybody else goes to the poll a lot less, but they get more done. Why do they get more done? Because they have more leverage. How do they have more leverage? They have more leverage because they can have an industry they can choke off if the person, number one, they put money in the pot. They put money in the pot and they say, hey, we're putting 30 million in here. We want XYZ to get done. If that politician think he's going to take that money and run with it, if he do, that those people that put that money in there, they just choke off that industry, and the people suffer. The people suffer, and ain't hardly nothing nobody gonna be able to do about it, right? That's all I'm saying, brother. That's all I'm saying, brother Arshawn. Another disagreement is you thinking the rich of the entertainment need to choke off the industry, check the industry off. We can't look for the rich to save us. Any revolution born of the people, not the elite. Brother, I'm not saying that. I'm telling you how politics works. If you want to not have this way of politics, then you need to be ready for a bloody revolution, and let's do it. Let's do it. But if you ain't got the stomach for a bloody revolution, and you think you can some kind of way turn this thing around, then hey, this is the way you're gonna have to do it. This is the way the game is played. It's like trying to go to a chessboard and play checkers and then cry because you never get nowhere. Well, we ain't playing checkers, we playing chess. This is how the game is played. You either put money in the pot and you have a threat. You have to be able to threaten the politician that if you don't do what we say, you think you're going to steal my money? You think you're going to just take my money and not do what I asked you to do? If you do, we're going to cut this industry off. So you got to have a threat to these people. You got to threaten these people. These ain't good people you dealing with here. These people are not good people. They're not going to do stuff because of the moral stance you got. You got to have a threat of loss for them so that they can say, uh-oh, I got to do what they said. I can't just take their money and leave. I don't know if y'all ever watched The Wire. You know, you can't just Clay Davis somebody. How come Clay Davis was able to get over on Stringer? Because Stringer didn't have nothing to choke it off. Stringer gave him $200,000 and Clay Davis was like able to just take that money and put it in his pocket. Why? Because Stringer didn't have no recourse. He couldn't say, I'm going to choke off something. I'm going to choke off this industry so your constituents are going to scream at you. But the Asians can't. They can choke off a lot of different stuff. The Latinos can. They can choke off a lot of different stuff. The Latinos could just kill the fruit and vegetable industry. Just kill it. All they got to do is just walk off the job. Another Cesar Chavez pop up, and walk them off the job. They done. Remember about 8 years ago when all the Latinos walked out on all of the hotels? They shut the whole industry down. They shut the whole industry down. That's how we got DACA. They shut the whole industry down. The hotel people was, please sign this deal. Please, Mr. President, sign this thing. Right? We can do the same thing, man, but we just got to think about it that way. We got to think about it business-minded. Sister G, exactly it, Brother C. Realistic, not opposition. Let's be realistic about it. Thank you, Sister G. Brother R, if I'm not mistaken, the 60s alignment with Dems was because of the Southern strategy. I don't think it was falling in love with the Kennedy alone, as you say, GOP embraced them. Brother, black people fell in love. Go back and look at the tapes. Black people was in love. Black people was crying when the Kennedys got killed. They was crying. They fell in love with them. They said they was going to do all these different things that they was going to do for black people. Ended up costing them their lives. But they said, oh, we're going to do all of this different stuff. And a lot of stuff they did say they was going to do, they never did. That's why Malcolm X called Jack Kennedy the Fox. He called him the Fox because he didn't do a lot of stuff he promised Martin Luther King he would do. He didn't do it. He called them the Fox. He called him and his brother the Fox. Sister Glenda, you can have a soft voice, but you got to carry a Kit Kat bar and break them off a piece. You're right, Sister Glenda. You're right. You got to, but to be able to do that, you got to have an industry you can threaten them with. See, these people are not good people, man. They have to be threatened. They have to have a threat of loss for them to say to themselves, "Oh, okay, I'm not going to do. We're going to do what we said we were going to do," because they could take your money. Go look at The Wire. Go look at Clay Davis and see how he got Stringer to give him $200,000. But because Stringer didn't have nothing to threaten him with, he couldn't do anything, right? Blacks voted in the 40s and 50s. Yeah, they did. You just saw the stat. I can put it back up here again. You just saw it. They voted in the 30s. They voted Democrat almost wholly. Well, no. It was like half and half in 1936, right? That's where it started. That's where those numbers start in 1936. And that's black demographics. They got that off the U.S. Census Bureau. And they got it off of another source too. I forgot the name of it, but I'll bring it back up. I was trying to break them up a piece. Yeah. Don't mess with Sister G, man. Let's see here. What's in-house stuff? Brother R, we can vote today. Got to fight them from the bottom, like we in MMA, bro. We do, but bro, we gotta put together. We gotta learn how to play the game, brother. See, they playing chess and we playing checkers, man. We playing checkers, and that's how they just able to move right around us, man, and make stuff happen. We got to finally understand. Okay, you're going to need to put industries together. You're going to need to be able to choke these industries off. You're going to have, like, I will agree with him, Brother E Black, on this, where you're going to have coalitions. You're going to have groups of people that are like-minded, that come together from all walks of life and say, we need to abide by this course of action, no matter what. Now, that's going to be hard because black people don't like to invest in other black people typically, but we're going to have to do it no matter what. That's in-house stuff. Brother R, blacks began voting after we were freed. We also held greater numbers in office during Reconstruction. Then a wave of racial terror and executions pushed black people out of politics for a while. Yeah, that's why we're here where we're at right now. Because we so scared of white people, man, what they're gonna do, man, their viciousness. We so scared of them, we won't jump deeper into the situation as a group. That's the reality of the situation. That's the reality of the situation. Um, but we know because we know and understand how vicious they can be. They can really be vicious when they want to. They can smile and you can shave them down, give them a haircut, and they can put a three-piece suit on, and they can look so nice, and they can talk to you at work. Hey, Bob, how you doing? Everything like that. But if you really push them, Mr. Farkas said, if you really push them, brother, that viciousness will come out. That viciousness will come out, as you saw with the brother that was running down the street, just jogging down the street, and they killed the brother. And so many other issues, so many other situations like that. So many situations that weren't never addressed. And that's the 1 in 1,000 that may have been caught on tape. Anyway, Brother Scorp, I thought blacks were able to vote in the 60s, Brother Clarence. They were able to vote in the 60s. The chart I brought, let me bring the chart back up here so y'all can see. They were able to vote in the 60s. Say here, starting from 1936, black people were voting Democrat and 28% voting Republican. See, in the 60s, I'm just saying the 60s is when it jumped from 68% all the way up to 94% because they fell in right around in this time is when black people fell in love with the Kennedy brothers, because the Kennedy brothers was promising they promised Martin Luther King a lot of different stuff. We're going to put money into the situation. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. All the stuff, most of the stuff that the Black Panther Party did on their own. The Black Panther Party they just decided, hey, we just got to do this on our own, right? They came with the breakfast program, the clothes program, the get a job program. They came up with the reentry program for guys coming out of prison. They came up with a lot of different stuff on their own, right? Because they went to whites that were sensitive to our situation, like Jane Fonda and others, and they was getting money from them to put into this situation. But operatives from the government I'm just going to say it, they started putting drugs onto the Black Panthers. They got them involved with drugs, got them hooked on drugs. And once they got hooked on drugs, it was a wrap. Once they got Dr. Huey Newton hooked on drugs, it was a wrap. It was a wrap. They got him hooked on heroin, I think. They got others hooked on a lot of different other stuff. They came in and shot up Fred Hampton. Ridiculous situation over there. Because the FBI informant said, yeah, he's in there sleeping. And they went in there and got him. Executed that brother. And many others. So that's why our people are so scared. Our people are so scared because they understand, hey, these people are for real. If you start really messing with their money, they can really be vicious. So you have to be able to have an army to who's keeping the government out of just running through the black community? Your gangbangers. Your gangbangers are keeping them out of your community. I know you don't like to hear that. That may not be it, but those are the brothers that's actually keeping them out of your community. They're keeping everybody else out of your community. If it wasn't for your gangbangers, the Russians would be in your community right now trying to run things. The Italians would be in your community trying to run things. If they ain't already behind the scenes in a couple businesses in there anyway. I'm just telling you the truth, man. Your brother, I'm your brother. I wouldn't lie to you. Brother Scarp, it was Democrats terrorized black people into not voting until JFK signed the bill in 1960s for blacks to vote. Brother, I just showed you the numbers. They were voting when they could. Now, it was just a percentage of the people that actually were able to vote. But everybody, I'm not saying everybody had the right, was able to vote, because in the South, they will play games with you. But you just saw the numbers. I just saw this. We just showed you the statistics. So JFK came in, signed the bill in the 60s that everybody should be able to vote, but there wasn't no law saying you couldn't vote. They were just trying to keep you from voting. Anyway, let's move on. Brother Arshawn. Brother Clarence didn't say the gangs are keeping us safe. Laugh out loud. Truth bomb. Keep us safe and terrorize us. Yeah, they do. They do terrorize you. I'm gonna tell you, they do terrorize you, brother. But they are keeping you safe. Because without the gangbanger in your community, brother, the Russians would be coming in trying to run everything. The Italians, the Irish, the Jewish, they would be in there trying to run everything. The Koreans already got a handle on most of everything. And the Russians are trying to muscle in on the Koreans. They just don't know how to do it. They just don't know how to do it. Once they figure it out, they're going to try and do it. But what's keeping them out is the gangbangers. The gangbangers is keeping everybody at bay. So next time you see one, thank your local gangbanger for keeping the Russians out of your community. Well, the bad Russians, I should say. The not so savory Russians, right? And the not so savory Jewish and the not so savory Europeans and everybody else out of your community. We just got to figure out how to control. What is that? I don't know what that sound is, man. What's that? Can you guys hear me now? 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 Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Put a one up if you can hear me now. Put a one up in the chat if you can hear me. No? Okay. What about now? What about now? Can you guys hear me? If you can hear me now, put a one up in the chat. I'm trying to get this echoing off of my mic. My mic has this bad echo. I should use my other mic. You can hear me, brother Arshawn? Thank you, brother. Brother Scorp, thanks for the knowledge, brother Klein. Hey, I'm just trying to drop it on you, man. So see, I want you to thank you, brother D. Thank you, sister J. I want you to be when you go away from this page, I want you ready to be able to stand and defend your position. Whatever it is, if you agree with me or if you don't agree with me, I want you to go back and get your stuff together so that you can defend your position. Go back and be able to defend your position, man. Now, I don't know how many of you guys agree with E Black. I had a different opinion for him of him, and I looked at it like this. Okay, he's talking about voting, and he's not talking about the actual. See, what makes voting work is the leverage that you got behind the vote. That's the part that they don't teach us. They used to have a class called political science in high school where they taught you about all of this stuff. They taught you what a lobbyist was. They taught you what a filibuster was. They taught you what a gerrymandering was. They taught you what all of this stuff was. They taught you what a bill was, what a law was, what a writer was. They taught you all that stuff. Now, who got rid of all that stuff? I'm always telling you guys who got rid of it. Ronald Wilson Reagan. Ronald Reagan got rid of all of that stuff. Ronald Reagan was the one that got rid of everything. Why? Why did he do it? Ronald Reagan pulled. See, let me give y'all a little history, y'all younger people. Back in the 80s and the 70s, there was the public broadcasting network had all kinds of money that they had gotten to produce children's television network, children's television programming, because so many women were working now that they had children they had what they call latchkey kids. I was a latchkey kid for a long time. I was a latchkey kid where the latchkey kids meaning you had the key to the house and you came in, you had a little shoestring with the key around your neck, and you had the key, and then you came home and you open the door and go in, and then that's how it was. Okay, so that's what we had in the 70s, 80s, what they called us latchkey kids. Okay, so in the process of having that, the government decided that, hey, it's going to be less crime if we got them bad kids in front of the TV instead of out in the street. Crime is going to go down, right? So they start giving all this money to Corporation for Public Broadcasting to create all these shows, to create all these TV shows to help kids with their homework, help kids with learning, help kids with English as a second language. They had all these different shows to entertain children at the same time, trying to help them learn. Okay, well, so Ronald Reagan came into office in 1980, and then by 1984, he had said, "Hey, look, we got to cut this. This is way too much money we spending on education. We spending way too much money on education." So, because his children had nannies and all that, so he didn't realize the effectiveness of having those shows to help monitor children. So he cut that budget, and he took that budget and he dumped it into the financial markets. And what happened was obviously the savings and loan scandal. That debacle came, which actually led up to, and George Bush Sr. got caught with the crash on Wall Street in '89. But Ronald Reagan is the one that set that situation up. Ronald Reagan set that up because he took that money and put it into the financial markets and made it so that anybody with a heartbeat could get a loan. You think it was bad in 2008? Holy smokes! In 2006, in '88, then you had Dave Daldado out there. You had Carlton Sheets out there. You had all these people saying it's easy to make money in real estate, and they was just people was going out going crazy. So Ronald Reagan took the school budgets, these budgets for education, and destroyed them, and took that money and put it into the financial markets. Well, okay, so now you ain't learning about the classes that the school have for those political science classes. They don't have it no more, so they can't teach you about economics no more because they don't have that stuff no more. Now you're just going out here. You know why? Because credit card companies lobbied him to take that stuff out of school. They lobbied him to take that economics out of the school system. Why? Because they want to be able to send you a credit card. As soon as you turn 18, they want a credit card in your hands. Why? So you can start off having bad credit already. That's how they make their money. That's how they make their money. They making the money hand over fist. They give you a credit card. They let you charge up $200 or $300. They get 1,000 or 2,000 people who have did all that, and they just go and sell it on a whole nother market. So they made money with no money. They made money with nothing. People like Capital One, and they just make money with no money. Anyway, let me get back to the chat, y'all. Y'all know I can go off, man. I hear your point, and overall, you're right. Industry and finance, we are playing. This brother Arshawn, by the way, we are playing checkers on a chessboard. Exactly, brother. But we are still allowed to play. Got to use our checkers like chess pieces. You ain't never gonna win using your checkers like chess pieces. You got to use your. Only way you're gonna win using your checkers like chess pieces is use your checkers like chess pieces on top of the board. Behind the scenes, you building your own pieces, your own chess pieces. You building your own situation. Don't let them see what you building behind the scenes. And then when they think they got you in a corner and you bust out your chess pieces, they go, whoa, we didn't know that. Now they got to sit down with you. They can't just run you all over the board. Right now, man, they run black people all over the board. They run you all over the board. And you don't get nothing. Isn't that odd that you send the most people to the ballot, yet you got the least best outcomes? Why is that? We can't get a definitive answer for that. We keep trying though, brother Arshawn. We keep trying, man. Sister G, brother, see, you're right. Reagan got rid of everything, rec centers, everything, summer jobs. I'm telling you, Muslim school, after school programs. I'm telling you, Sister G, you know it too. He took that money and he dumped it into the money market and to have that money available for his buddies that owned all those banks. And what they did was flood the market with bad loans. See, here's the whole. This is what the plan was. The plan was to dump all that money into the financial markets, set up all these bad loans, and then sell them to China and have everybody default on China. That was the plan. But it didn't work out that way because the Chinese was like, we ain't buying these bad loans. The Chinese got tired of buying that shit. They said, wait a minute. Nobody can have this many good loans, right? Even we're not that dumb. So they stopped buying them. Boom. The Ponzi scheme stops right there, right? Boom. I mean, if you ain't got the new investor to pay for the old investor, it's over. But you're right. That was the plan. The plan was we're going to take this money, dump it into the financial markets so you can play around with it here, right? You can front these people this much money, a couple of thousand, but the amortized loan, we're going to sell over to China. We know they bad because people ain't got to come in with no verification of employment, verification of nothing. They ain't got to verify nothing. That was the savings and loan debacle. Anyway, moving on. Thank you, Sister G. You know what I'm talking about. Brother R, watching you on TV after this. Need the PC for something else. Chat with you later. I'm listening. Bye, everyone. Brother R, always glad to have you, man. And it's no problem that you push back on me. Appreciate you, man. I do. I appreciate all the pushback, brother. You may see me get like a little what's the word I want to use? Passionate, but it's all good, man. It's all good. Everybody's welcome here. Brother Scort, Brother Clarence dropping out. I'm trying, brother. I'm trying. I mean, y'all tell me, has voting helped us? Has it helped us a lot? Are we getting somewhere behind it? Are we making a lot of headway? Am I looking at it the wrong way? Am I seeing things out of pocket? I mean, we do all this voting and we do all this canvassing and all this stuff, but we don't ever get nowhere. And I'm like, why? Why not? Why are we not getting anywhere? Why can't we get a straight answer for why we're not getting nowhere? Why? Because nobody wants to tell us the hard truth that what you're doing is bullshit. You ain't doing nothing. They don't want to give us the rule book. The rule book says you got to put money down in this pot. Just like when you go to the casino, you got to put money in that pot. You don't put no money in that pot, ain't nothing happening. Well, you got to worry about the casino taking your money. Why? Because they got a reputation to protect. These politicians have horrible reputations. So you can't look to them and say, oh, they're going to try to protect their reputation by not stealing money from me. No. You got to be able to say, no, look, if you don't do what we said, we got an industry, we're going to cut you off. We're going to cut you off in this industry that we got. Period, the end. Period, the end. If you don't have no industry, man, you can vote all you want. You can canvass all you want. You can knock on as many doors as you want. As we have proof, we are the proof of that. We're the proof of how many doors you can knock on. And we are proof of you can vote your candidate in. And your candidate still ain't going to be able to do nothing for you. We put Barack Obama in not only in 2008, but in 2012. But how many things did Barack Obama actually do for us as black people? He had to go with who? He had to do his to-do list first. Okay, let's see, the Jews gave me $10 million, so I got to do what they want. The Asians gave me $30 million, so I got to do what they want. The Latinos gave me $40 million, so I got to do this DACA thing. You know, everybody they're giving you money and putting money in the pot, and they telling you what they want done. Black people, we don't put no money in the pot. We just go to them appealing to their moral sensibilities. Hey, giving us reparations, that's the right thing to do. You think they're going to give you reparations because it's the right thing to do? You got to You got to have an industry to hold over them. You think they're giving Jews money every year because it's the right thing to do? No, they want those They want the weapons that they over there manufacturing. That's high grade. If I'm saying something that's a lie, y'all go get somebody to come and prove me wrong. I'm just here to tell you the truth. But Scorp, voting is not really helping, in my opinion. Well, we can see by the numbers it's not. We can see by the numbers it's not. We black people need to invest in our own and rebuild our own community. Yeah, that's the problem, brother Scorp. Nobody wants to do that, right? If a black person makes some money, 9 times out of 10, he will forget about his brothers. Just like we got somebody on the Mothership Network, right? That person will say, I don't rock with somebody just because of their color or the cultural alignment I got with them. I'm rocking with who's a good person. Okay. That means, okay, by his definition of a good person, whatever that means. Anyway, but we have some people who are compromised. There you go. Are afraid to speak up. Yeah, we got people like on the Mothership where they got business arrangements with other people. They can't speak up. They can't. People always jump on Megan Thee Stallion and say Megan Thee Stallion is a bad person because she's doing this and that. She can't stand up to nobody. She got too many people's jobs on the line. She got too many people. She has to stay that character. Because why? Because she's got too many people who have invested too much into her as a business. And if she decides she's gonna stop being that person, she might put her life in danger. There's a movie, I forgot, there's this movie with Lola Falana and Roscoe Lee, I think his name is. And Roscoe Lee, the black dude, and Lola Falana's a black lady, beautiful black lady. And he was a successful guy in this white town. He was very successful. He owned a lot of different businesses. He owned a junkyard. He owned a couple of different businesses. And he was always on the road traveling. So this sheriff was always at his house smashing his wife, Lola Falana. And the black dude gave his wife everything. She was a lot younger than him. He was like in his 50s and she was like in her 20s. And so, but he was always gone. But she had everything. I mean, money, she had the clothes, she had everything. But the white boy sheriff was always coming over there smashing his wife. So she hadn't been intimate with him in about 6 or 7 months. She turns up pregnant. He was going to divorce her. So he comes in, he finds out that she lets it out that she's pregnant. And he knows it's not him because she won't even get in the bed with him. So whose baby was it? It was the white boy sheriff. But the white boy sheriff is married. So Roscoe, I forgot the name of the actual character's name. The guy who owned the junkyards and all the black businesses, he was going to divorce her. The white boy came to him and said, hey, you cannot divorce her. You are not going to divorce her. You're going to stay with her and you're going to raise that baby. That dude said, hey, the black dude said, I'm not going to raise somebody else's baby. You crazy? You want her, you can have her. She's yours. I'm done with her. The white boy killed him. Why? He said because he wasn't going to let his marriage fall apart and let his wife find out that he had been smashing the black chick. And not only smashing her, he got her pregnant. Because what happened was the white boy went to the sister and told her, Lola Falana, and said, hey, you gotta get rid of that baby. You gotta get rid of it. You gotta baby murder that baby. She said, I'm keeping this baby. I'm keeping it. So he knew he couldn't reason with her. So he went to him to try to reason with him, say, hey, you got to stay with her. He was like, I'm gonna stay with her to keep your marriage together. I'm out. But I'm telling you, this is how people think. This is how bad situations we get ourselves into. This is a bad situation. This voting thing is like that. We're just trapped in this situation. And all our people be trapped in the same thing. Brother Scorp, it may take another 100 years for a change of economics and wealth for black people. One of the methods, boycott mostly what we love, material things. See, I'm different, Brother Scorp. I don't like boycotting. I don't like boycotting. I'd rather say we're just gonna walk away from it. Right? Because a boycott means you're gonna go back when they submit to your demands or some of your demands, you're gonna go back. No, we're not gonna boycott. We're not going back. Let's create our own music industry. Okay, you control this music industry. Okay, let's start our own music industry. Let's start our own. Or let's start our own football league. And we'll let you play with us. Right? Like right now, you letting us play with you. You paying us good salaries, but you letting us play with you. Let us start our own league and we'll let you play with us. And maybe we'll give you a comparable salary. Right? Or let us start whatever else. But it'll be ours. It'll be ours. We have lost the understanding of unity. We lost it. Everybody else practiced unity, right? The Italians practice unity. The Irish practice unity. The Jews practice unity. The Asians practice unity. The Latinos practice unity. When black people practice unity, you know what they say? You racist. It's now all of a sudden unity is racism when we practice it. When they practice it, it's patriotism. And white people stick together on a specific point, it's patriotism. When we practice it, it's racism. So they scare you off your square. They scare you off by telling you were racist for being with somebody black. That's why come the brother like I'm talking about on the mothership can say, I won't rock with nobody just because of their color. Why? Because they scare you off your square. They scare you off your square. Say if you rock with somebody just because of their color, you're a racist. Except if you're white. Except if you're white. Then you're a patriot. We're patriotic if we stick together. Right? But Scorp, I respect your opinion. I think people are boycotting every day in the U.S. That's how come, brother, how many times have we boycotted something and look where we're at? Look where we're at, brother. We boycotting all these places. Before we started boycotting, we had the black businesses all over the South and coming all over the East Coast. I mean, all over the West Coast, East Coast, everything too, right? Before these businesses, before we started boycotting. But once we listened to Martin Luther King and started boycotting and starting getting ourselves hit with bricks and getting hit with nightsticks and having dogs sicked on us so we could go and close our businesses down so we could sit next to white people in the coffees and order coffee with them or ride on a bus with them. We had our own bus companies. Dr. Carl Anderson's family owned a bus company. Bustling bus company, black bus company. Why? Because white people didn't want you on their buses. They didn't want you in the white buses. White people started the black church because they didn't want you in the white church. They felt that you needed God a little bit, just enough to get you in the Negro heaven. Right? That's the Christian thing to do. At least get you into Negro heaven. Or maybe you be in white folks heaven. Like Mr. Farrakhan always used to joke about. Maybe you be in the kitchen. When you get to white folks heaven, you be in the kitchen. You have a job in the kitchen. Or maybe you're out in the field. Who knows? Right? No one has ever come back to tell us what happens after a man passes over death. But all I'm saying is, brother, boycotting is not the way to go, brother. Not for us. We need to start our own stuff, man. It's time. Everybody else has stood up and started their own thing, brother. And it's time for us to start our own thing. It's time for us, man. And it's time for us to group together. The problem is we have been so close to European values by being their slaves that we have adopted many of their beliefs, one of which is the greed. There is no such thing as that where we come from as greed, man. You're looked at as a different kind of person. Here, people look at you and they try to motivate you with greed. That we never, where we come from, that doesn't happen, because greed is not something that you are. That's a good thing. Here, because of Eurocentric values, greed is something that is used to motivate you to get your control your behavior. If I want you to do something, all I gotta do is tell you I'm gonna pay you a certain amount of money to do it, and you could do it. It's just the reality of the situation, brother. But I know what you ultimately mean, brother Scorp. But I'm just saying that the boycott, as it's defined, that's not what we need to be doing. We need to be building our whole situation. All right. I think I covered almost everything, man. You know, you guys want to talk about anything else? I appreciate you guys coming through. Yeah. What do you think about E-Black? I like the brother. He's a good brother. You know what I'm saying? What do y'all think about him? Did he answer any of your questions? He didn't really answer any of mine. Not seriously. I mean, you know, but like I said, he has a different way of speaking. So, you know, appreciate you, brother Scorpion. Don't feel bad, man. Push back on me at any time, brother Scorp. Anytime, man. It's all in love, man. I hope you know that. I hope you don't think I was trying to come down on you, man, at all. Not at all, brother. I get a little passionate sometimes, but I appreciate the people that can deal with me. And because everybody can't deal with me, brother. That's why it's only 6 of y'all here right now, because everybody can't deal with me, man. I just cut straight to the chase. So nobody, you know what I'm saying? So if you can handle that, that means you got a chance, you got a good chance of maneuvering your way through this situation, man. Just to see a different way of looking at everything, man. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but I definitely have a different way of looking at everything. That's for sure. That's for sure. Anyway, y'all, I'm gonna shut it down. Before I shut it down, let me tell y'all who's out there right now, man. Let me tell y'all who's out there. Maybe you guys could go over there and check out and see what's happening. Let's see what's happening. I'm going. Let's see who's out there, who's live right now. You got Conversation with Kings is out there. From people from our little thing. Let's see. You got a lot of other people out there too. I'm not gonna say everybody is. Let's see. Well, so far I only see Conversation with Kings. For those of y'all that like Greg Adams, Free Agent Lifestyle, he's out there, but that dude is he's something else too, because he always talking about the black community in a bad way, and I don't like that. But you know, hey, I ain't no hater, man. Y'all go ahead and y'all check him out if y'all want to. Let's see who else is out there. I knew Miss B Finesse was out there earlier today, but I don't see her now. Let's see. That's all I see out there right now, man, from our little circle is Conversation with Kings. They're out there. And so you go check them out and see what's happening. Brother Scarp, what's my next live? My next live is probably going to be on Saturday. Me and Brother Daniel Madden is trying to work something out for Saturday. So hopefully that will work out. If not, then probably, well, not probably, for sure Sunday. It will be for sure on Sunday. You know what I'm saying? We do at 11:45 every Sunday, and we'll put it together, man. Put a project together. You know how it goes: news, hit parade, Black History Minute, you know, your job of the week, and then we get right to it, brother. So I appreciate you. Hopefully you'll come back by and you'll be able to stop on through. But our regular broadcast is every Sunday morning at 11:45. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. 11:45 a.m. That's true. I should have said that. Thank you, brother. So anyway, man, if nobody have any other questions, I'm gonna close it out, man. You guys go check out the Kings or whoever else you want to check out. And thank you guys for stopping by. And peace to all of y'all.